Welcome everybody, my name is Dominique and today I will be guiding you through a yin yoga practice using 2 yoga blocks. This practice will offer up many variations of each pose, so this is a great practice to revisit multiple times and try different variations of the poses. Once you have your 2 yoga blocks and your mat rolled out, we will get started. We will take our yoga blocks to the front of the mat and then make your way into a child's pose to start off with some breath work. So it's up to you if you would like your legs closer together or your knees farther apart. I suggest taking the variation that you don't normally take. So if you usually keep your knees wide, I recommend bringing them closer together. If you usually keep your knees closer together, then perhaps you try making them a little bit wider today. So go ahead and find the position that works best for you and your body. If you would like, you can even use the blocks underneath the hands to create a little bit more space. Then allow the forehead to drop to the mat and allow yourself to settle into space. Notice where you are on the mat. First, starting with the external to bring us present. So feeling what is beneath your hands, whether it's the blocks or the mat. Feeling the clothes pressed against your skin. Perhaps bringing awareness to the forehead down on the mat. Notice what you can change to lengthen the inhales and the exhales. See if you can make your exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. Taking this time to calm and to center, preparing ourselves for the practice. And then if you're in more of a passive variation of your child's pose, go ahead and make it a little bit more active. Perhaps that means walking the arms closer towards the front of the mat. Perhaps that means pulling the hips back towards the heels just a little bit more. Just a slight tweak here. Inviting more length and breath. Last full round here. Perhaps you make it a round of cleansing breath with an inhale through the nose and an open mouth sigh. Begin to press yourself up into an all-fours position and then place your blocks off of the right side of the mat. We will move into a half frog position, so go ahead and bring the forearms down towards the mat and then walk the legs out long. So it's up to you if you would like to take the supported variation or the traditional variation. If you're taking the traditional variation, you'll just move the blocks alongside and bring them up towards the upper corner of your mat and make your way right into the half frog. If you're using the supported variation, then we're going to prop our right leg up on the block. So just go ahead and move them into a position that is going to work for your body. And then bring yourself down on top of the arms. The hands will act as a pillow and then bend through right knee. Lift your right leg on top of the blocks. Then allow your leg to rest heavy. Knee is in line with right hip. Right knee is also in line with right ankle. Once you have the proper positioning, allow your head to relax on top of the hands. Continue to breathe here. Awareness comes to the fascial tissue around the right hip, inner right thigh,
allowing gravity to release and create space here. And if this does not feel like much for you, that's okay. Sometimes holding in the pose is all we need for the fascial tissue to release. It's not always the intense stretch. There's a lot more going on in the body than we might even realize. And if you try the supported variation and it's not really your jam, know that you can always make any adjustments that you need to best support you and your body today. A few more rounds of breath here, and then we'll add on if you choose to do so. Now it's up to you if you would like to remain here in stillness. Otherwise, if you would like to progress, you'll lift your head and extend your left leg long with left foot on top of the ground. Hands will come underneath the shoulders. Find length through the spine as you lift yourself up into a cobra variation. Keep a bend through the elbows here, and then you'll lower yourself back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And if you were moving, you'll find your way back into that propped position, head on top of the hands. Now from our half frog pose, we're going to roll onto our back into a supine twist. So you'll do this whether the legs are propped up or not. You'll lift your head off the hands, start to shift your left hip as you begin to roll onto your back. If your leg is on the blocks, you might have to shift the blocks over, and then find the position so that you have both shoulder blades on the earth with right leg extended out and gaze over towards the right. You can use your left hand for assistance as it drapes over right leg. Begin to breathe deep here. Perhaps with each exhale, you find a little bit more length through right side body, maybe even through right glute or lower right side of the back. Deep inhales and exhales, filling the navel space. These long holds help us get into the fascial tissue to allow the fascial tissue to release. A few more rounds of breath here. Then we'll begin to release the twist, come onto your back, and we'll prepare for a supported bridge. So knees are bent, soles of the feet are planted. You'll have one block alongside your left hip. Arms are long, pressed through the heels, roll yourself up, and then slide the block underneath you on its lowest setting. Then rest the sacrum down onto the block and release here.
And after a few moments, if you would like to progress, you can do so, whether that's lifting the block to a higher setting or extending one leg, perhaps both. Many options for you to choose from here. And whichever option you choose, notice if there's any tension or crunching in your low back. If so, back out of the posture and remember to keep length through your spine. So often in a supported bridge pose, people start to dump in and just release. We want to make sure there is an active stretch through the back. Actively lengthen the vertebrae. So whether your legs are extended long, whether one leg is extended long, or whether you are on a higher position, you want to actively try to find length all through your back. Deep inhales and exhales. Fill the navel space on the inhales. Empty the breath completely on the exhales. Check in with your face. Relax your forehead and your jaw. Allow tension to release and leave the body. One more full round of breath here. Then begin to press through the heels to lift yourself off the block. Remove the block alongside the body and lower yourself down. So this time we're going to bring the blocks over towards the right side of the mat, and we'll start in the supine twist first. So we're just reversing what we just did. So right leg will extend long, you'll shift the hips over towards the left, and left leg will either come to the blocks or to the earth. Take any adjustments that you need for both shoulder blades to be planted. Left wing is open. You can use your right hand for assistance as it drapes over left leg. Deep breaths. Relaxed face. Connect to the body. If any thoughts start to come to mind as you're holding in these poses, just notice and allow them to drift away. Keep yourself present here. See if you can find a little bit more space and length. One more full round of breath. We'll begin to make our way into half frog on the other side. So if left leg is propped, you'll keep it there as you start to rotate down onto your stomach. You can always remove the blocks. Whatever it is that you did on the other side, you will do on this side. Then when you're ready, create the pillow with your hands for your head and settle into the shape. Again, invite back in the deep inhales and exhales. Longer exhales than inhales.
This side might feel a little different, and that's okay. No attachment or judgment, just awareness. And we have a few more breaths before we have the option to add on. Again, remember you can stay where you are in stillness. Honor your body. If you want to add on a little bit more and you did so on the other side, extend long through right leg, top of right foot is on the mat. Begin to bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift, find length all through the spine, bend through the elbows. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Create a pillow with the arms again. Last couple of breaths here. Then we all release and extend left leg back and make your way into a Sphinx pose. So you'll find the kickstand with the forearms, roll shoulders up, back, and down. Length all through the spine, chin parallel to the earth. Active through the glutes and the inner thighs to help protect low back. Then begin to press your weight up and back into a child's pose. You can take a different child's pose variation this time if you would like, or you can take the same one. I'm going to take the same variation with my legs closer together and my hands on top of the blocks. 2 more full rounds of breath here in child's pose. And then begin to lift yourself up. We'll move into a deer pose. So you'll bring your right leg in front, left leg is out towards the left. So we want to think 90-90. So we have a 90-degree angle with right hip, 90-degree angle with right knee. Same thing for left side. You have a 90-degree angle with left hip, a 90-degree angle with left knee. This is where the blocks are very useful. So some of us might notice that we're leaning over towards the right a lot. If that is you, then you will go ahead and stack the blocks and you'll bring the earth closer to your right hand. This might be enough for you, and if so, that's okay, just stay there. If you would like a little bit more, then you can bring the blocks in front of your right leg and start to fold over your right leg as you bring the forearms on top of the blocks. And if you need even more, then you can always start to walk your left leg back. We'll start here, and if you are on your forearms on the blocks, know that there is a progression coming. So I recommend starting here before moving on into another progression. Allowing the tissue to release without putting too much tension. Again, allowing gravity to do most of the work here. So we're getting ourselves into these shapes with the support of the blocks for gravity to assist and release the tissue. A couple of more rounds of breath.
And if you would like to go a little bit deeper and you're folding over the right legs, then you can always just remove the blocks and bring yourself down, or you can add in a twist and you can bring the blocks over towards the right as you twist your chest towards the right. This might bring a little bit more of a stretch through your left hip. Find whichever variation works best for you. Again, this is a great practice to come back to. So if you want to try one variation today and a different variation another day, you can totally do so. Check in with your face. Is there tension in your jaw or in your forehead? Finding a little bit more length with each exhale, perhaps going a little bit deeper. We have a couple of more rounds of breath. And if you found your way into the twisted deer pose, you'll begin to walk yourself back to frame towards the front of the mat. Framing towards the mat is where we all meet, whether you are in an upright position or folded over. And then begin to make your way into an upright position and swing the legs out in front. So both legs will be long. We'll grab our blocks, place one on each side of the leg, and then use the blocks to walk forward. Flex through the feet and find your way into a seated forward fold, but with your hands on the blocks. Now it's up to you if you would like to stay active through the legs or if you would like to relax. And then breathe here as you fold over both legs. Again, hands stay on top of the block, so whether it's on its highest setting, lowest setting, medium setting. And we're looking for a stretch through the scapula, the upper part of the back, perhaps even through the chaps or the neck. Chin releases to the chest. Giving the hips a little bit of a break here. A few more rounds of breath. And then keep your hands on top of the blocks. Keep yourself in this forward fold and then just bring the blocks wide. This might require you to put the blocks on a higher setting. Continue to breathe. This might be a tough one for you if you sit at a desk often or if you drive often. A few more rounds of breath here. Perhaps you can actually feel the tissue releasing. Then very slowly and gently begin to walk yourself up. We move into a deer pose on the other side. So find the 90-90 with the legs. This time your left leg will be in front. Again, if you're leaning over towards the left side a lot, go ahead and stack your blocks and bring the earth closer to your left hand. Again, if this is where you are today, that is perfectly acceptable. Honor your body and what works best for you. If you have the mobility and the flexibility to move into the next variation, then you'll bring the blocks in front of you and you'll fold over your left leg. Again, this side might feel a little different, and that is okay. Breathe. Release tension in the face. Allow yourself to relax. Know that there is another opportunity for progression coming, so just allow yourself to relax here and to rest into the shape. Sometimes we very quickly go into a deeper expression without realizing that if we were to just stay in the initial position or in a less deep shape, that it can serve us just as much, if not even more. A few more rounds of breath before the opportunity to progress. Now your progression might be just removing the blocks, whether they are to the left of you or in front of you, or it might be adding in the twist. So if you're adding in the twist, blocks come over towards the left side, and then you'll rest your forearms on top of the blocks. Again, you can always create a little bit more space as you walk your right leg back. That'll bring a little bit of a deeper stretch into the front of your right hip. Try to relax here. Deep inhales and exhales. Breath into the navel space. Creating opportunity for gravity to assist in ways it normally wouldn't if we were not in these shapes. Working to release the fascial tissue with the long holds. And if you're in the twist, we have just a few more breaths here. Eventually, we all meet with the chest framing the front of the mat. A few more rounds of breath here before we make our way up. Last breath. And start to walk yourself up. This time we'll bring both soles of the feet together. And then it's up to you if you would like to bring the blocks underneath your knees or if you would like to remove them to the side. We will make our way back into a Supta Baddha Konasana position, but we'll start upright here in butterfly. So take this opportunity to find what works best for you, whether you want the support of the blocks or not. Know that you can always add them back in or remove them, and then walk the hands behind you, and then just create a C curve with your spine as you roll back onto the forearms, and then slide yourself back onto the mat. Take any adjustments that you need. If you invited the blocks in at first and you feel as though you're better suited without them, you could go ahead and remove them. And we have a diamond shape with our legs. Sometimes what I like to do is make a diamond shape with my hands as well and put it on the navel space. If you feel as though you want a little bit more of an opening through the chest and the heart chakra, you can bring the arms overhead to also make a diamond shape with the arms. And we'll release here into our Supta Baddha Konasana, our supine diamond shape. You can allow the eyes to close if you would like. Perhaps you scan through the body, starting at the crown of the head, moving all the way down to the feet. Awareness to the inner thighs, the hip flexors, the front of the hips. Notice the stretch. Perhaps you can even feel the tissue release. This is one of those postures that you really don't need to do much in. Now it's up to you if you would like to remain in this shape for your final shavasana pose. If not, you can always extend one leg and then the other for a traditional shavasana. If you would like to keep your legs in the diamond shape, then you can always adjust the positioning of your arms and your hands for your final rest. Perhaps that means bringing the hands to the navel space or alongside the body to feel a little bit more grounded. Then allow yourself to relax and rest. Silence for the next few moments. Bring awareness back to the breath. Notice the inhales and the exhales. And then together we all inhale through the nose. Open mouth, sigh, release. If your legs are in the diamond shape, extend one leg and then the other. Then we all meet with the inner ankles together and the arms overhead for one final long stretch. Then release the knees into the chest, give them a squeeze, start to rock left and right. And if fetal pose calls to you today, you can roll into fetal pose. Otherwise, begin to rock forward and back. Then whether you chose to go into a fetal pose or not, we will make our way into a simple seat to close out practice. Once you arrive in your simple seat, pray your hands come together, thumbs press into the heart space. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. If you liked this practice, please be sure to hit the like button below and to comment. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.